Incoming transmission.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Security authorization accepted.
Accessing library computer data.
Very, very good evening and welcome to the Big Nerd Star Trek Quiz Part 2. Hope you're all keeping well. Hope you all can hear me. This is the second Star Trek quiz that I've actually put on. I decided that the first one was so good that we decided to do a brand new one. And hope you're all keeping well wherever you are. Like I said, tonight I reused the graphics from the first quiz, so I don't know whether any of this will actually work or not. But anyway, you're all very, very welcome to join me here tonight on the Star Trek quiz, like I said before. So this is your first time to Big Nerd Pub Quiz, which I'm sure it isn't. Here's how you play it. Yep, very, very straightforward. It's access the Subspace channel, Big Nerd Pub Quiz via YouTube. To play along is a Google Doc in the live stream description of the YouTube channel that you're watching right now. 8 rounds of 6 questions each with multiple choices. Play along as I'll call out the questions, and there's only one correct answer per question. At the end of the round, all you have to do is hit submit, and you get your score straight away. And stick about to hear the answers at the very end of the round. So have fun and kapla. You can support Big Nerd Pub Quiz by donating Latinum to my Patreon and PayPal. Really, really do appreciate that. And like I said, the Big Nerd Pub Quiz is now on every Sunday. This is the very last of the specialty quizzes that I'm going to be doing. As I said, I've been doing them all. Let's fix my hair there. I've been doing them all throughout lockdown, and they've been really, really good fun. Now that the lockdown is kind of coming to an end, I've decided to actually put them on the back burner a bit. I'm going to turn down that ambient music there a little bit as well. I know the sounds of the Enterprise D are a little bit too loud tonight. But yes, I've decided that I'm going to put the specialist quizzes on hold. Probably do them now and again once people want them. But I'm going to keep doing the general knowledge quiz every Sunday night at 8 p.m. So every Sunday night, 8 p.m. is the general knowledge quiz. Anyway, let's just hope this all works, because I haven't used these graphics since I did the quiz all the way back in April, which was way at the start of the lockdown, even like a little bit into it. Anyway, I hope you're all ready. Hope you're all ready to beam up and get Trekkie tonight. So here we go. Round 1, question 1 is all going to be about general knowledge. 6 questions each, like I've always said. Turn down the sound effects. I'm going to turn them down a little bit more. Get them down nice and low. Anyway, so here we go. Round 1, general knowledge questions, all basically about the show. Random stuff about Star Trek. Let's see how you get on. So here we go. So round 1, question number 1. What is the name of the main starship to be featured on the upcoming Star Trek animated comedy series Lower Decks? I'm really, really super looking forward to this, because they released a clip of it, a basic the opening scene of it. So I'm really, really super excited about it. Really interested to see how it turns out. But I am definitely looking forward to it. I don't know about you guys, but what is the name of the starship that's going to be featured in the upcoming Star Trek animated comedy series Lower Decks? Round 1, question 1. Round 1, question 2. So this is an interesting one. What was Hikaru Sulu's first job on the USS Enterprise? So round 1, question 2. What was Hikaru Sulu's first job on the USS Enterprise? You first see Hikaru Sulu. If you're like me and you go by production date as opposed to air date, I consider his first appearance to be Where No Man Has Gone Before. So what was his job? Round 2, question 3. In the Star Trek original movies, what division color denotes medical personnel? So round 1, question 3. In the Star Trek original movies, what division color denotes medical personnel? So when I'm talking about the Star Trek original movies, I'm talking Star Trek the Motion Picture all the way to Star Trek 6. Obviously a little bit of 7 that bleeds in to the Next Generation era. But yes, I'm counting everything from Star Trek the motion picture up to Star Trek the Undiscovered Country. So yes, in the Star Trek original movies, what division color denotes medical personnel? I know loads of you guys are big fans of, cosplaying and getting Star Trek uniforms out there, but yes. Round 1, question 3. Round 1, question 4. In the Star Trek film, Star Trek 4, we see the first female captain. She is unnamed, but what is the name of her ship? So round 1, question 4. There's a lot of kind of fan speculation and a lot of crazy fan theory going out there that she's related to Captain, to Michael Burnham in some shape or form. But she is unnamed in the show, or in the actual movie itself. But what is the name of her ship? It's mentioned in Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, in the opening scenes. Round 1, question 5. When on screen do we find out what James T. Kirk's first, or not his first name, but his actual, the T in James T. Kirk? I should rephrase that. But when do we find out the name? When do we actually find out, not James T. Kirk's first name, but what the T means? I'm going to take that off, actually, because that's a little bit misleading. So the actual T... Mistype that. There we go. That's better. So when on screen do we find out what the T in James T. Kirk's name means? Okay, now I'm talking actual canonical, you see it on screen. So we always know that it's Captain James T. Kirk, but when do we actually find out that the T for Tiberius, when do we find out when is that revealed? Okay, so round 1, question 5. You've got 4 options in your answer sheet there. It's actually quite an interesting one again, and a little bit of Trek trivia there. Round 1, question 5. When on screen do we find out what the T in James T. Kirk's name means? And round 1, question 6. Which veteran Trek actor is the first Klingon we see on screen with the forehead ridges in Star Trek the Motion Picture? It's also kind of credited with creating the Star Trek language of Klingon. Although that it's published by Mark Orkrand, who's actually got a copy, who published the Klingon Dictionary. And he actually developed the language. But apparently the actor who plays this particular Klingon in the opening scenes of Star Trek the Motion Picture, seasoned Trek actor, that's all I can say. He's been in a lot. But which veteran Trek actor is the first Klingon we see on screen with the forehead ridges in Star Trek the Motion Picture? And there's your roundup of general knowledge questions here. So what is the name of the main starship to be featured in the upcoming Star Trek animated comedy series Lower Decks? 2. What is Hikaru Sulu's first job on the USS Enterprise? 3. In the Star Trek original movies, what division color denotes medical personnel? 4. In the film Star Trek 4, we see the first female captain. What is the name of her ship? 5. When on screen do we find out what the T in James T. Kirk stands for? So Tiberius. When do we find out that he's actually called James Tiberius Kirk? And 6. Which veteran Trek actor is the first Klingon we see on screen with the forehead ridges in Star Trek the Motion Picture? Alright, so 1 down, 8 to go. If you want to get in touch with me at any point during the quiz, all my social media details are up there in the corner. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can give me a message on any of those platforms. A big shout out to Rebecca, who's watching tonight, and she's keeping a live feed, an eye on this live feed. And well done, and congratulations on your upcoming, and hope everything goes well with the baby. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Run down, 7 to go. And our next round is all about Star Trek aliens. Yes, 6 questions all about Star Trek aliens. Sure, what would Star Trek be without all the different types of alien species from around the galaxy and the planets? Anyway, so here we go. Round 2. 6 questions all about aliens. So round 2, question 1. What is the name of the captain of the Physicist pictured here? Yes, the Physicist of the First Federation, whom we later find out is actually played by Clint Howard, who's Ron Howard's creepy little brother. This is Tranya. I hope you relish it as much as I. But yes, round 2. Question 1. What is the name of the captain of the Physicist pictured here? It's the very famous episode, The Corbomite Remover. It's definitely one of my favorites. Round 2, question 1. And you always see him pop up at the very end of the original series credits. Round 2, question 2. From which species did the caretaker pledge to protect the Ocampa from? And that's in the episode, the first episode of Star Trek Voyager, Caretaker. So from which species did the caretaker pledge to protect the Ocampa from? So round 2, question 2. Round 2, question 3. In the episode The Unexpected, which species gets Commander Trip Tucker pregnant? So round 2, question 3. In the Enterprise episode, The Unexpected, I think it's the 5th episode. It's the 5th episode of season 1. Which species gets Commander Trip Tucker pregnant? It's also the first kind of instance where you see holographic technology, and not canonically. Well, kind of canonically, I think. Maybe in the Star Trek timeline. Anyway, if we could get into timelines, we'd be talking all night. So yes, the Enterprise episode, The Unexpected, which species does Commander Trip Tucker get pregnant? Round 2, question 4. What species is known to the Borg as species 5618? Round 2, question 4. Which species is known to the Borg as species 5618? It's round 2, question 4. Round 2, question 5. Who was the first Kelpian to enter Starfleet? So, round 2, question 5. Who was the first Kelpian to enter Starfleet? I might have to take the wig and the ears off because they're very, very uncomfortable, I have to say. Round 2, question 5. Well, I'll keep them on. Why not? It'll keep the illusion of the whole thing. Round 2, question 5. Who was the first Kelpian to enter Starfleet? And finally, round 2, question 6. What is the Klingon afterlife known as? Round 2, question 6. What is the Klingon afterlife known as? Interestingly, there's a Klingon heavy metal band called after this. But yes, what is the Klingon Valhalla known as? Anyway, there is your roundup of alien questions, Star Trek alien questions. So what is the name of the captain of the Physicist pictured in the first question there? Round 2, question 1. Round 2, question 2. From which species did the caretaker pledge to protect the Ocampa from? 3. In the Enterprise episode Unexpected, which species gets Commander Trip Tucker pregnant? 4. Which species is known to the Borg as species 5618? 5. Who was the first Kelpian to enter Starfleet? And 6. What is the Klingon afterlife known as? Give you some time to kind of mull over those. And then we move on to the next round. Just checking my communication frequencies here to see if anyone's texting in. Anyways, thank you very much for downloading. And here, thanks for everyone over the last couple of weeks who've been supporting the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. It's been an amazing journey, like I have to say, and over since March. So March, April, May, June, and all of July, nearly 4.5 months of doing the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. This is quiz, I think, number 65, which is absolutely insane. And I want to have a big, massive thank you to everyone out there who's been watching and following the quizzes since I've started them. You can play any of the quizzes again on the channel on youtube.com/BigNerdPubQuiz. And like I said, it's like I'm going to be doing the quizzes now from every Sunday from now on. Anyway, so here we go. Round 3 of the Star Trek quiz tonight. Let's hope this works. Round 3 is all about locations. Yes, taking a completely different approach to the quiz this time, because this time about the last time we did the quiz, we split the quiz up, and big shout out to my buddy Mark Harrison who helped me write that. But we split the quiz into sections, and it was all about the original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine. But I thought I'd mix it up this time. I thought I'd kind of make it a little bit more fun and kind of just, pocket, cherry pick questions from different series and and the universe as a whole. So anyway, round 3, all about location. So round 3, question number 1. So where on Earth is Commander William T. Riker from? He does mention it. I think he does mention it a couple of times actually. But round 3, question 1. Where on Earth is Commander William T. Riker from? Round 3, question 1. Round 3, question 2. The USS Franklin is discovered on which planet in the film Star Trek Beyond? So round 3, question 2. The USS Franklin is discovered on which planet in the film Star Trek Beyond? It's round 3, question 2. Round 3, question 3. Which Star Trek character was born on Turkana 4? Yes, it's Turkana 4, yes. Sometimes I have to look at my Roman numerals, I'm like, is that 6 or 4? Yes, which Star Trek character was born on Turkana 4? Round 3, question 3. Sorry, I'm flying through this quiz. I do apologize if I'm going a little bit too fast. Just like, I am absolutely terrified of the thing not working. I want to get it done as fast as I can, I guess. But anyway, round 3, question 3. Which Star Trek character was born on Turkana 4? Don't worry, you can always pause the quiz at any point if you think I'm going too fast and rewind it. So anyway, round 3, question 4. What planet was home to the Farpoint station, as seen in the very first episode, Encounter at Farpoint, of Star Trek The Next Generation? So where was Farpoint station? It's kind of mentioned in I think it's mentioned in the opening monologue, Captain's Log, Stardate, Did you know that the star dates in Star Trek: The Next Generation, it's they go by season. So if it's Captain's Log Stardate 4-1, it's season 1. If it's 4-2, it's season 2. That's how you know. I know there's kind of loads of theories about how the actual star dates work, but yes, 4-1 is actual season 1, and you work it out. So yeah, there you go. That's how I think that's how they did it. Anyway, Star Trek. Yeah, there's a lot of kind of theories about how the star dates work. Anyway, so round 3, question 4. But what planet was home to the Farpoint station? And interestingly, the reason why Gene Roddenberry wanted a star date system, because he didn't want to actually have a specific date mentioned in Star Trek. The first actual date you hear is like 2364, and it's like in the Next Generation episode. And establishes when it is. So round 3, question 5. What planet's inhabitants created a probe that made Picard relive their way of life? So round 3, question 5. From the very famous episode, The Inner Light. So what planet's inhabitants created a probe that made Picard relive their way of life? Oh, I'm having someone pick apart my spelling. It's through the quiz together. Dan. Anyway, so round 3, question 5. What planet's inhabitants created a probe that made Picard relive their way of life? And finally, what is the name of the planet in Star Trek V, which is known as the planet of galactic peace? So what is the name of the planet in Star Trek V, which is known as the planet of galactic peace? And it's a bit of a dump. Anyway, so round 3, question 6. What is the name of the planet in Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, which is known as the planet of galactic peace? Yes, this wig is very itchy, I have to say. Round 3, that's the round up there. So 3 down. 5 to go. So round 3 out of 8 rounds. So we'll go over it one more time. Where on Earth is Commander William T. Riker from? 2. The USS Franklin is discovered on which planet in the film Star Trek Beyond? 3. Which Star Trek character was born on Turkana 4? 4. What planet was home to the Farpoint station in the episode Encounter at Farpoint? 5. What planet's inhabitants created a probe that made Picard relive their way of life? And 6. What is the name of the planet in Star Trek 5, which is known as the planet of galactic peace? Some shout-outs here. We've got Becky Nutting. She says, hope you're well. Could me and Puppy Riker have a shout out for the Star Trek quiz? Hello, Becky. Sure thing. Estelle says, nice wig. Awesome commitment. Yes, I've always done... like I said, I had to throw this together using the graphics from the old quiz, and it's one of those things, like, some of these things will go wrong tonight, because I haven't used these graphics in weeks, in months even. Big shout out to Steeler, who actually wrote the Doctor Who quiz, which you can play if you're any Whovians out there, any, Lord of the Rings fans, or Harry Potter fans, or Star Wars fans. There's tons of quizzes on my channel that you can replay at any time. We've got Dan, yes, he's saying, I wasn't meaning to pick apart your spelling, just thought it might help if you're interested in looking it up. Memory Alpha. Dan, I wrote this quiz today, and I just threw it together, as I was in the car, so I was just like typing away. So if my spellings are wrong, sorry. Anyway, thanks Dan for tuning in. Matthew Locke's tuned in. Quite hard to compare to the Elcar sound. Yes, I've turned it down. Anyways, anyone, if you want to get in touch with me, by all means, get in touch via all the different social media channels there. Let's hope this thing doesn't work. Next one is going to be a picture round 4. And it's called Name That Starship Class. Round 4 is all about naming the starship classes. I'm going to show you 6 pictures of master systems displays of different starships. And you have to guess the classes of these starships, okay? So very, very, very simply, I'm going to show you them each one at a go. And you have to name the actual type of starship it is. Not the name of the starship. I'm not looking for the name of it, if it's, the Stargazer or the Enterprise or Voyager. I'm looking for the starship class, okay? So I've trawled around the internet here, and I found 6 different master systems displays, much like the one down here in the bottom, of all these different Star Trek starships, and all you have to do is guess the class of it. So here we go. Round 4, question number 1. I know my sound's going to cut out, so I'm just going to actually just copy, see if I can get the sound. But if there's no sound, I'm just going to play them through for the next couple of seconds. So if there's no sound, don't worry, I'm still here. Again, I just threw these together today, and I'm really kind of paranoid about it working and all. So anyway, so here we go. Here are your 6 starships, which I'm going to show you in quick succession, okay? So that's round 4, question 1, okay? I think you've all had a good chance to have a look at that. Round 4, question 2, coming up now, okay? So here we go. I'm going to put them up individually, so it gives you a couple of seconds to have a look at them. If the sound cuts out, I'm deeply sorry. There's nothing wrong with your stream. But here we go. What class of starship is this? Okay, so that's the second one. Here comes number 3. What class of starship is this? Now, pay attention to this one. This could fool you, okay? Which class of... Okay, that's the third one. Here comes the 4th one. Okay. That's 4 down, 2 to go. Okay, here's your 5th. Okay, that's the 5th one. And here comes the 6th one. Okay, not as easy as people would have thought. I think some of the easier ones are at the start, but I kind of wanted to make it challenging. I didn't want just to show a ship and just for everyone to guess the name of it. I thought the Starship classes are a lot more interesting, and it's like, yeah, I thought like this would be a little bit different way to have a look at the starships and stuff like that. And it's always one of those things I love geeking out about is all the different types of starship classes. I'll go through them one more time so you guys have a good chance to have a look at them. The sound will cut out again because I couldn't set up the sound properly on these rounds, but anyway, we'll have a go. Here we go. So here is the next round. Alright, so that's your picture round. Don't worry, at any point you can pause these and go back to the start and basically look over them at any point. So yes, Starship classes. Hope you found that one interesting. Anyway, couldn't just make it just simple as like what name, obviously there's going to be an Enterprise in there, or maybe not. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Here we go. So round 5 is all about Trek tech. Yes, next 6 questions all about Star Trek technology in all its guises and all its forms, and it's one of the things that makes Star Trek super special. So round 5, Star Trek technology, Trek tech. Here we go, round 5, question number 1. What is the name of the holodeck program that Naomi Wildman is fond of on board Voyager? You actually see it mentioned you kind of see it referenced in Star Trek Picard, actually. Round 5, question 1. What is the name of the holodeck program that Naomi Wildman is fond of on board Star Trek Voyager, or on board the Starship Voyager? Round 5, question 1. Round 5, question 2. What type of missile did Professor Zefram Cochrane convert into the Phoenix warp ship? So round 5, question 2. What type of missile did Professor Zefram Cochrane convert into the Phoenix warp ship? Interestingly enough, this was the same ballistic missile that would have taken the Gemini capsules into space in the 1960s. And they're still in use, I think. Anyway, what type of missile did the Professor Zefram Cochrane convert into a warp ship? Round 5, question 3. What Star Trek Next Generation prop was designed using an automotive air filter and a hairband? I think you can probably work that one out. Round 5, question 3. What Star Trek Next Generation prop was designed using an automotive filter and an hairband? Round 5, question 3. Round 5, question 4. What device does Dr. McCoy leave behind on the planet Sigma Iota 2? This is the gangster planet, remember? And he does panic about this. He thinks he might have violated the Prime Directive. But round 5, question 4. What device does Dr. McCoy leave behind on the planet Sigma Iota 2? And interestingly, I think for the episode Trials and Tribulations, they were thinking about revisiting that episode and that planet. But they ended up just going back to the Trials. They actually went the Trouble with Tribbles episode as opposed to that one. But it'd been interesting to see the gangster planet, how that would have looked. Round 5, question 5. What does the L in LCARS stand for? What is LCARS? This thing. So yes, round 5, question 5. It's designed by Mike Okuda, the Trek guru. Him and his wife, they do a lot of the Star Trek research and designs. And yes, Mike Okuda I'm a big fan of his. Him and his wife Denise wrote the Star Trek Encyclopedia, which is a big thing for me growing up. But round 5, question 5. What does the L in LCARS stand for? And finally, round 5, question 6. Which Star Trek captain has an artificial heart? So round 5, question 6. Which Star Trek captain has an artificial heart? Okay, that is your Trek tech questions. So, round 5, question 1. What is the name of the holotech program that Naomi Wildman is fond of on board the Starship Voyager? 2. What type of missile did Professor Zephyrin Cochrane convert into the Phoenix warp ship? 3. Which Star Trek Next Generation prop was designed using an automotive air filter and a hairband? 4. What device does Dr. McCoy leave behind on the planet Sigma Iota 2? 5. What does the L in LCARS stand for? And 6. What Star Trek captain, or which Star Trek captain, has an artificial heart? Alright, so anyway, so we're still getting all these, like, when I first did this quiz, all the way back in April, the dimensions of I was broadcasting on a much, like, lower dimension rate, or definition, and so when I went to jig it up for tonight, I had to re-stretch everything, so all my camera moves were all over the place. But anyway, hope you're all enjoying the Star Trek special, the second Star Trek special. Hopefully, because now that I've got these graphics up, I'm going to probably do a couple more Star Trek quizzes in the future. And if you want a fancy writing, help me write a quiz at any point. If you have any ideas about different quizzes or any feedback, by all means, get in touch. Also, to let guys let you know, I'm doing a charity quiz next week. I'll post the details on my social media about that. It's called For the Tiny Life charity. It's all for for looking after premature babies. And I've got, if you're a big sports fan, there are special sports presenters actually reading out questions. So that's one of my first corporate gigs. If you want to hire the Big Nerd Pub Quiz for any kind of corporate gig, for any of your, like, any sort of questions, any sort of, for socially distanced activities, and any sort of customizations for graphics and stuff like that, by all means, you can hire me for that. And like I said, I'm getting the corporate gigs, which is amazing. Anyway, so round 6, moving on. And round 6 is all about guest stars. Yes, Star Trek has had its fair share of big guest stars over the years, and it's amazing to see how many of them either went on to much more bigger things, or even kind of very well-known famous faces out there who have appeared in Star Trek throughout the years. But anyway, round 6, question 1. What is the name of the captain of the USS Bozeman, played by Frasier and Cheers star Kelsey Grammer in the Next Generation episode Cause and Effect? Round 6, question 1. What is the name of the captain of the USS Bozeman, played by Frasier and Cheers star Kelsey Grammer in the TNG episode Cause and Effect? It's a really cool cameo. Interestingly, his wife, Lilith, she also appears in the Star Trek episode First Contact as the alien that Riker pulls. Round 6, question 1. Also filmed on the Paramount lot. Round 6, question 2. What science fiction film would guest star in the pilot episode Where No Man Has Gone Before Gary Lockwood go on to star in 1968? So round 6, question 2. Which very famous science fiction film would guest star in the pilot episode, or the second pilot episode Where No Man Has Gone Before Gary Lockwood? What would he go on to star in 1968? Do you know, as far as pilots go, I actually think of Where No Man Has Gone Before, the second commissioned pilot, is really strong. It's a great episode. Round 6, question 2. Sticking with the original series, round 6, question 3. Which character did actor Frank Gorshin, who appeared in the TOS episode Let That Be Your Last Battlefield, portray in the classic Batman series? Lee Meriwether also appeared in Star Trek the original series as but she was Catwoman. Round 6, question 3. Which character did Frank Gorshin, who appeared in the original series episode Let That Be Your Last Battlefield, portray in the classic Batman series with Adam West and Burt Ward? Round 6, question 3. If you look at him closely, you can probably work out who it is. Round 6. Round 6, question 4. Wallace Shawn, known for playing Rex in Toy Story, was known in the Star Trek universe for playing which recurring character? Hello, Quark. Oh, did I give it away? Maybe I did. Maybe I did. I don't know. He's got a great voice. He's one of my favorite actors. I think he's one of my dream dinner guests. Wallace Shawn, but he's known for playing Rex in Toy Story. Was known in the Star Trek universe for playing which recurring character? And I'm going to give you no more clues than that. Round 6, question 5. Which NASA astronaut and scientist appeared in the Next Generation episode Second Chances? So an actual astronaut and scientist has appeared in Star Trek The Next Generation. Who is it? Round 6, question 5. You see, if you're in any of those Star Trek groups, you see it pop up every so often. It's like, oh my god, did you know this is actual astronaut? Someone who's actually been into space, who's in Star Trek. So which NASA astronaut and scientist appeared in the Next Generation episode of Second Chances? And finally, round 6, question 6. Who is the only person in Trek history to portray themselves on screen? So round 6, question 6. Who is the only person in Trek history to portray themselves on screen? And he's a big fan, or was a big fan. And there's your roundup of guest star questions. So what was the name of the captain of the USS Bozeman, played by Frasier and Cheers star Kelsey Grammer in the Next Generation episode Cause and Effect? 2. What science fiction film would guest star in pilot episode Where No Man Has Gone Before Gary Lockwood go on to star in 1968? 3. Which character did Frank Gorshin, who appeared in the next TOS episode Let There Be Our Last Battlefield, portray in the classic Batman series? 4. Wallace Shawn, known for playing Rex in Toy Story, was in the Star Trek universe for playing which recurring character? 5. Which NASA astronaut and scientist appeared in the Next Generation episode Second Chances? And 6. Who is the only person in Trek history to portray themselves on screen? Still was saying there, it was like, whose good idea was to let Sideshow Bob have his own starship? Anyway, again, one of my favorite episodes, that one there. Thanks very much for playing the Star Trek quiz. We're down to the last 2 rounds tonight. We're flying through the quiz. Because basically the quiz doesn't have any of the slides that I would have in the normal quiz, which generally has loads of plugs and shout-outs and nods. And I think the last quiz had about a good 10 minutes of actual video material from the Star Trek episodes, which was very illegal. And I got a massive slap on the wrist for putting that out there. I shouldn't have. YouTube will slap you on the wrist if you use copyrighted audio. So yeah, I learned my lesson that time, and I think that was all the way back in April. So yes, this quiz will be a lot shorter, but not much shorter than the last Star Trek quiz, which you can play incidentally. It's still up on my YouTube channel. As with all the other quizzes, if you're into Lord of the Rings or Marvel, DC, Friends, Harry Potter, Simpsons, television movies, horror movies, we've got it all covered. We've done quizzes on nearly everything you can think of. So if you want to take your chance and play any of the other quizzes, I've left them up online. You can replay them at any point. And big shout out to anyone who's out there who's playing the quiz at a later date. I know a lot of people are saying they were wanting to catch up with the quizzes as well. And also big shout out to Larry Nemchek, you know, the guy who's like one of the big Trek gurus. He retweeted me plugging this quiz, so thanks for the plug, Larry. I really do appreciate that. Anyway, round 7 coming up. We've got 2 more to go. Here we go, round 7, and it's all about behind the scenes. Yes, 6 questions all about kind of behind the scenes aspects of Star Trek. This will test whether you know beyond the universe into the real realms of production of Star Trek. Here we go, round 7, question number 1. So who directed the 7th Star Trek feature film, Star Trek Generations? So round 7, question 1. Who directed the 7th Star Trek feature film, Star Trek Generations? I think it was the first Star Trek movie I ever saw. It holds a special place in my heart. I remember that summer very, very well. I love that poster. If I can get a copy of that poster, I will. Round 7, question 1. Round 7, question 2. Who played the original Captain Christopher Pike in the Star Trek pilot The Cage? So round 7, question 2. Who played the original Captain Christopher Pike in the Star Trek pilot The Cage? Interestingly enough, the actual original actor played Jesus Christ in the Greatest Story... No. Was it The Greatest Story Ever Told? or King of Kings. Yes, he weirdly played Jesus. Crazy, huh? Yeah, it's an interesting early role for him, because I remember actually seeing that movie as a kid. I was like, wait a second, I recognize him. Anyway, round... and actually, funny enough, if you watch the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, very, very similar career. Round 7, question 2. Round 7, question 3. Which television network was Star Trek Enterprise first aired on in 2001? So, to clarify, which US television network? Now, which, and this was kind of meant to be a flagship show for the network itself. But round 7, question 3. Which television network was Star Trek Enterprise first aired on in 2001? Gosh, I think I still have some of the posters in the magazines from that. There was so much hype about it. But round 7, question 3. Nearly 20 years ago as well. It was mind-blowing. Round 7, question 3. Which television network was Star Trek Enterprise first aired on in 2001? Round 7, question 4. Who was the first Star Trek actor to actually write a Star Trek story? Now, we know a lot of the Star Trek actors and writers have gone on to direct and write various episodes of the Star Trek franchise. Jonathan Frakes being a notable example, having directed 14 episodes of The Next Generation, as well as 2 feature films and numerous episodes of Star Trek Discovery and other incarnations of the Star Trek franchise. And yes, a lot of, obviously, Shatner has written episodes and written books, and Andrew Robinson actually wrote a diary whilst he was playing the character of Garak and got it published. So yes, it's like the Adventures of Garak, written by Andrew G. Robinson, the actual actor who played him. But round 7, question 4. Who was the first Star Trek actor to actually write a Star Trek story and have it shown on air? Round 7, question 5. Which Star Trek movie featured the first entirely computer-generated movie sequence in cinema history? So round 7, question 5. There's a whole sequence, and this was quite revolutionary for the time, and set a standard of computer-generated graphics. But round 7, question 5. Which Star Trek movie featured the first entirely computer-generated movie sequence in cinema history? Round 7, question 6, your final question of our penultimate round tonight. Round 7, question 6. Who convinced Nichelle Nichols not to leave Star Trek after the first season? And this is a story I've actually heard her retell in person, and as I know many of you would have if you've attended Star Trek conventions up and down the country like I have, and it's a really, really cool story to hear. Round 7, question 6. So who convinced Nichelle Nichols, who played Uhura in the original series of Star Trek, not to leave it after the first season? That is your roundup there of questions relating to behind the scenes. So a quick roundup of those one more time. So who directed the 7th Star Trek feature film, Star Trek Generations? 2. Who played the original Captain Christopher Pike in the Star Trek pilot The Cage? 3. Which television network was Star Trek Enterprise first aired on in 2001? 4. Who was the first Star Trek actor to write a Star Trek story? 5. Which Star Trek movie featured the first entirely computer-generated movie sequence in cinema history? And 6. Who convinced Nichelle Nichols not to leave Star Trek after the first season? Okay, one more round to go, and then we're nearly done. Riker says, thank you very much, and that's from Becky. Oh, what a cute dog as well. Oh God, my screens are all over the place. Make that a little bit bigger. Anyway, thanks so much for playing tonight. Just to let you know, there's more quizzes coming up. One more quiz coming up at it's going to be the first one of August, but I'm not doing any more specialist quizzes for now. I'm putting them on hold for the next month. I'm going to be doing the quizzes basically on a basis just every Sunday from here on in. But one more quiz that is coming up is on Thursday, and it's a charity quiz which I'm doing on behalf of a charity called Tiny Life, and they look after premature babies. It's based here in Northern Ireland, and they're a really worthy cause to support. The quiz is accessed via their website, so if you look them up, Tiny Life Charity on Google, and find their website, there should be an event link there to the quiz, which I'm going to be hosting for them. It's not going to be done through my channel. Well, it'll be hosted on my channel, but it won't be live. You have to go through them to get the link for it. But anyway, thank you so much for playing tonight. We're coming into the final round, and it's all about Name that episode. It's a bit of a tricky one, this. I know, I've kind of thrown a bit of a curveball with this. But the last time we tried to do this, we showed clips from various episodes, and you had to name the episode. I'm not going to be as cheeky this time, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a quote. Six very well-known quotes from various episodes of Star Trek from across the series. All 6 series, or 7. I've lost count. How bad are we on now? Used to be back in my day, there was 5. Now there is... Gosh, there's so many. We've got Prodigy coming up. We've got the Strange New Worlds, more Discovery, more Lower Decks. And whether you love or loathe the new series or not, it's still a good time to be a Trekkie. There's loads out there. Anyway, so round 8, all about name the episode. I'm going to show you a quote. All you have to do is figure out which episode it is. Sometimes I think the quote, the clue of the title is almost in the episode name. Just to throw that out there. So here we go. Round 8, question number 1. It is possible to commit most mistakes and still lose. That's from Captain Picard. But which episode did he say that? It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. So round 8, question 1. It is still possible to commit mistakes and still lose. Round 8, question 2. Can it change the laws of physics? Possibly the most kind of quoted Scotty line. But with that, and she can't take it anymore, Captain. But can it change the laws of physics? It wasn't an episode. Which episode did he say it in? Round 8, question 2. A lot of TOS questions tonight, I know, but I'm a big TOS fan, so... That's how it is. Round 8, question 2. Round 8, question 3. Computers make excellent and efficient servants, but I have no wish to serve under them. That's from himself, Spock. But which episode did he say that in? Round 8, question 3. Computers make excellent and efficient servants, but I have no wish to serve under them. It's round 8, question 3. Round 8, question 4. The real world doesn't always adhere to logic. Sometimes down is up, sometimes up is down. Sometimes when you're lost, you're found. The quote is from Michael Burnham from Star Trek Discovery. But which Star Trek Discovery episode did she say those lines? Round 8, question 4. The real world doesn't always adhere to logic. Sometimes down is up, sometimes up is down. Sometimes when you're lost, you're found. Round 8, question 5. Fear exists for one purpose, to be conquered. So round 8, question 5. Captain Janeway? That's who said it. Round 8, question 5. Fear exists for one purpose, to be conquered. But which episode of Star Trek Voyager did she say those lines? Here comes your final question. Don't forget, once you hit submit on the Google Doc, you'll get your scores, but do stick about to hear the answers to the quiz at the very end of the show. So here we go. Round 8, question 6. Scotty, beam me up. No, I know what you're thinking. Is that actually said? Yes, it is. But I've given you 4 options there in your Google answer sheet. Scotty, beam me up. When does Kirk actually say that line? He never says beam me up, Scotty. Let's just clear that up. He never says beam me up, Scotty. Everyone thinks it's that. But he does say Scotty, beam me up at one point in one of the 4 options that I've given you in the answer sheets there. Okay, so round 8, question 6. Scotty, beam me up. And there's a roundup there of those quotes. Number 1, it's possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. Captain Jean-Luc Picard. 2, I can't change the laws of physics. Commander Montgomery Scott. 3, computers make excellent and efficient servants, but I have no wish to serve under them. That's Spock. Commander Spock. 4, the real world doesn't always adhere to logic. Sometimes down is up, sometimes up is down. Sometimes when you're lost, you're found. Michael Burnham. 5, fear exists for one purpose, to be conquered. Captain Catherine Janeway. And 6, Scotty, beam me up. Captain James T. Kirk. Okay, that's it for the quiz. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Hope you've all done well. By now, you'll be getting your scores. But you'll want to know where you went right and where you went wrong. I know a load of you Trekkies out there will probably get very, very, very high scores in this. And yes, big shout outs to everyone who's been playing tonight. I really do appreciate you taking the time to tune in and take part. Like I said, the quiz now has been going on for well over 4 or 5 months, and 4.5 months, and it's been absolutely amazing seeing the kind of cult following it has. And I have to say, like, the very first specialty quiz I ever did was Star Trek, because as you guys know, I'm a huge Trekkie, and if you've bumped into me at various Trek conventions up and down the country, like, you would know me as a huge Star Trek fan. In fact, I'm gonna show you this here. I've got my Klingon bird of prey, above me. I didn't have time to actually bring any of it down, but above me I've got all my Trek models and all my kind of my Trek collectibles, including my fleet, as I call it. But yes, this is my Diamond Select bird of prey, and I've actually kept it in the landing mode from Star Trek 4. Yes, quite a lot of questions about Star Trek 4 tonight, I think. And you know what? I'm just gonna put that over here. Don't want to drop it. Anyway. So, tonight, here is how you got on. Here are tonight's answers for the Big Nerd Star Trek quiz. Here we go. So, round 1 answers. So, the very first question there was all about the ship. Is the USS Cheritos? Is the ship in the... Did I spell that right? I don't even think I spelled that right. Anyway, but it's called the Cheritos, and it's the new ship that's in lower decks. Hikaru Sulu is a physicist in the very first episode you see him in. And I'm counting the very first episode you see him in as Where No Man Has Gone Before. I'm a production guy. Order guy. That's how I go. Green is the color which denotes the medical personnel. So you see Dr. McCoy, he wears green. And the Star Trek medical badges all are in green in the original series movies. The captain is of the Saratoga. She's the unnamed captain, but she's the first female captain we ever see in the Star Trek universe. You find out that James Tiberius Kirk is called James Tiberius Kirk in Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. Again, my Roman numerals all up there, all spout. And Mark Lenard is the Klingon captain in that movie. Baylock is the captain of the Visarius in the first episode, the first Federation. In the episode Corporate Night Maneuver. The Kazon are the aliens, which the caretaker said they would protect them again. Xyrillian are the ones that get Commander Tucker pregnant. Humans. That was the Borg designation for humans. Saru is the first Kelpian to graduate to Starfleet, and Stovacor is the Klingon afterlife. Commander Riker is from Alaska. Ultimate is the planet where the Franklin is found. Tasha Yar is from that planet. Deneb 4 is where Farpoint Station is. Catan is the planet. Not Resilient. It's a bit of a trick one, that one. But Catan is the planet where Picard ends up in his mind, in the inner light. And Nimbus 3. Yes, I know it's a Reisigan flute, but Catan is the name of the planet. Nimbus 3 is the name of the planet in Star Trek 5. Those Star Trek classes, it's Constellation, Excelsior, Soyuz class. The Soyuz class has a modification to the back part of it. It's a bit of a trick question, that, and I actually can show it to you. It is a Soyuz class starship. That was the Bozeman. Again, I mentioned it before. It kind of come up again. 4 was a Nova class. 5 is a Prometheus class. And 6 was a Sabre class, as seen in Star Trek First Contact. Round 5. The Adventures of Flutter is the program that Naomi Wildman really likes. Titan. What was that one? Oh, yes, that was the name of the missile is the Titan missile. Visor is the one that was made out of a hairband. Communicator is the piece of technology that Dr. McCoy left on Sigma Iota 2. The library, LCARS, the first L is for library. And Captain Picard has an artificial heart. Morgan Bateman is the name of the captain in the episode Cause and Effect. 2001 A Space Odyssey, Gary Lockwood plays one of the astronauts of the Discovery. The Riddler, Frank Gorshin, plays the Riddler in the Batman series. Grand Negus Zek is Wallace Shawn's. Mae Jemison is the actual astronaut who's been in Star Trek, and Stephen Hawking is the only person who's actually played himself in Star Trek. So here we go. David Carson directed Star Trek 7. Jeffrey Hunter played the original Captain Pike. UPN was the network which Star Trek Enterprise was first shown in. Walter Koenig was the first person to write an episode for Star Trek, and it was an episode of the original, the animated series. Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, had the first computer-generated capture or computer-generated sequence in cinema history, and Martin Luther King Jr. was the person who told her to stay in the role of in Star Trek. And finally, those quotes came from Peak Performance, The Naked Time, The Ultimate Computer, Context is for Kings, The Thaw, and Star Trek 4. That's where he actually says that line. Anyways, thank you very much for tuning in to the live Star Trek quiz. Hope you've all enjoyed tonight. Sorry for all the big technical differences and all those spelling mistakes and everything like that. Like I said, I was in a rush to put the quiz together, first of all, and second of all, it was one of those things, it was like I hadn't used these graphics since April. I hadn't tested them out since I reconfigured my format output. But yes, I think it went all right. There was no major boohoos. I hope the answer sheet worked. I did try to test it out before I went on air. Next quiz is on this Sunday. So if you want to check out the next quiz is on this Sunday at 8 p.m. in the evening. So do be sure to tune into that. Thank you very much for tuning into the Star Trek quiz. And it just reminds me to say to everybody out there, live long and prosper. I hope to see you all soon. And thank you so much for playing. Good night, everybody. And take care.